Okay, so for this lesson, we're going to be making the color wheel. We're going to be doing that out of pastels, which were a little messy. So what I suggest is that you grab a paper towel, fold it up, so this is an example, and then roll up your sleeves just to stay kind of clean. And so we're going to be making a 12-point color wheel. So the first thing you need to do is start on a new sheet of paper, and let's label everything together. So this is going to be our color wheel. And I'm going to put the date right over here. So whatever date it is for you, I like to put that right there. And so because this is 12 points, I do want to make it a little bit easier for me to measure out where everything is, so at least it's roughly even. And so the place to start is in the center. We're going to make a plus sign, just really lightly. You can go back and forth if you need to, but this is going to be erased later. So roughly even, plus sign. And then you're going to put a circle on all of the four ends. So roughly an inch wide. And again, doesn't have to be perfect. You just really want them roughly equidistant from each other. And in order for this to make 12, you're going to put 2 in between each. So 2 circles in between each. 1, 2, 1, 2. So if you see me just make a couple of passes at it, again, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so we're going to pre-label everything because these are kind of messy, so I don't really want to have to deal with them afterwards. So in order to start, I'm going to go with red at the top. Next is red-orange. So there's red here, orange goes here. So there are 2 colors that make orange. So red makes orange, and then the other color is yellow. So what's going to go here is yellow, orange. And notice that I'm putting the primary color first. And it can go either way, but I personally just like to put the primary color first. So red, red, orange, orange, yellow, orange, yellow. Yellow also makes green. So yellow, then green, so green. And you can just double check that red is the opposite of green, so they're on opposite ends of our color wheel. Green is made with yellow and blue. So blue is the primary color, blue, green. Next is blue. Blue makes green and violet. So next is blue, violet, which is the same as purple. Then violet. And then finally between red and red violet is red violet. So you have all of yours labeled out. Now I'm going to quickly just make a diagram so I know which colors are kind of more important to me, at least for now. So you're going to erase that plus that you made, so hopefully that was nice and light. Clear that off. And then I need to know what my primary colors are, and I'm going to mark out with a straight line what my primary colors are. And remember, your primary colors are the ones that can't be made by the others. They make the colors in between them, but they can't be made. So those are actually red, yellow, and blue. So I'm going to make a straight line between red, yellow, blue, and back to red. Again, doesn't really have to be perfect. There you go. And now I'm going to deal with my secondary colors, and I'm going to do those with a dotted line. So once you have your primary colors, this is actually pretty easy. So the other ones that don't have those double names. So orange, green, and violet. Those are the ones that are made by mixing 2 primary colors kind of evenly. And so I'm going to make a dashed line or a dotted line to orange, to green, and violet. So there you go, like a nice little Star of David there for you. So everything is filled out. We have our nice little diagram right here. I have my paper towel ready. So I'm actually going to start using my colors. And so for this color wheel in particular, we're going to use all 6 of the basic colors. And then next I'll show you how to just use the primaries. But because yellow is so bright, I want to make sure that I start with that just so it doesn't get contaminated by anything else. And so you really want clean fingers for pastels. And so I'm going to take my yellow, and notice there are 3 circles that say yellow. I'm going to start with just regular yellow by itself. If you notice that your chalk is your pastels are kind of dirty, you can just swipe them off and they'll be clean. But usually isn't really necessary unless you want a very pure color like I do right now. So there's yellow, yellow orange, and yellow green. So I'm actually going to put a little bit in the yellow orange and in the yellow green as well. So almost filling them out. And at this point, I'm not going to swipe away at my paper because that'll smudge all of the pastels. So I'm going to just take a quick breath to it. And it should mostly go away. So that's it for yellow. And put that guy away. And notice that my hands are already kind of messy. So that's really why I have my paper towel. It's not for blending today, it's just for cleaning. So clean off my fingers. Next, I'm going to grab orange, and you can really go any way from this point on, but I really do like to start with yellow. So orange. Again, 3 circles say orange, so I'm going to fill them out. Should have cleaned that, but that's okay. Fill out the red orange a little bit, and since yellow is a very sensitive color, I'm not going to go too hard. Just add a tiny layer, thin layer, soft layer of orange on top of that. Again, breath. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going along my circle. I'm going to go to red now. Add a little bit to red violet. And some to the red orange, so that kind of blends them together. Grab my violet. Again, I always like to fill out the one that actually has it pure on its own first. Then go to the blank one and the one that's already filled. Now, you have 2 sets of blue, at least we do. So I have a light blue and a dark blue. And so you want to get the closest to a pure blue as you can. And so this one is so light that it's not really going to work for me. So I'm going to use this one. It's a little messy, so I'm just going to clean it off a little bit and then go for it. So using my dark kind of pure blue, some to the blue green and to the blue violet. And last is my green, so I'm going to clean off my fingers because it's a little lighter than my blue. Maybe clean off this green a little bit. Fill out green. Again, I'm going to be very gentle with how much yellow. And then add some to the blue-green. And so my whole chart is filled out now. So the fun part is the blending. And a lot of people think that you're going to use your paper towel for blending, but at least on our sketchbook paper, which is a little bit less thick than another paper, not as high of a quality, it actually takes better to your fingers. And really the pastel is quite like your fingers unless they're very oily. So again, I'm gonna clean them off, and I want to start with my lightest color, which is yellow. So in the pure yellow, I'm just going to take my finger in like a rounded motion to try to spread it out evenly in the circle. And it's okay if it goes out of the circle, at least for today. It's just the colors that I'm really after, and the circles are there mostly to keep us so everything is roughly even. So I'm going to go from yellow, and I'm actually going to go to yellow orange to orange and red orange because those all contain a little bit of yellow, so it doesn't matter if I wipe off my finger or not. So into the yellow orange, you should get a nice golden color. So a little bit darker than that one. Your orange. And then finally into your red orange. And I'm going to stop here because my red has no yellow in it. And so I really want to wipe off my finger before I get to that point. So here I am, just going to wipe off my finger and continue on. So I'm going to go from red all the way to blue-violet because anything with violet contains a little bit of red in it. And I always like to go from lighter to darker. So I'm going to start with red, blend that in, blend in my red-violet, my violet. Got a little bit of extra red in there, which is fine. And then my blue violet. And if you want to, you can go back and forth. It's totally fine. Some people like to switch fingers. That's up to you. I'm going to clean them off now. And so you can go from blue into the yellow-green. But again, I really do like to start lighter. So I'm going to clean off, and I'm actually going to switch fingers as well. So yellow-green, green, blue-green. And before I get to my blue, I'm going to switch fingers or clean off, or both. And there you have a nice bright blue. So there your color wheel is complete. And from this point, you can kind of adjust things. So if I want to say my blue violet is really, really close to my blue, my violet and my blue violet are roughly the same as well, I can adjust that if I want to. So I'm going to take my violet, kind of add a little bit more to each. And so they look a little bit more distinct. And then since my red and my red violet are pretty close as well, maybe I'll take that leftover purple violet color and just rub it on top. And if you don't like that, then you can go back in with your red instead. So try to adjust as you see fit. I think I want my yellow-orange to be a little darker. Again, cleaning off my finger. And like my red, it's kind of thin, just to get darker, maybe red, orange, a little darker as well. All right, and there you have it. So make sure that you keep clean while you're doing this. Try to balance all your colors so that they look different from each other. And then you are all set with your color wheel.